welcome to HDPP Live on a Saturday night to the UK and around the world with photos, memories and friends. This is HDPP Live. How are you this evening? Are you all well?
Hinckley District has the present for you, meeting friends old and new. Streaming Wednesdays and Saturdays too, with founder members Paul and Sue. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Film clips, photos, memories and friends helps a dreary night go by. We're in Hinckley, six of the best, stupendous, quizzical high. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Let's take you back in time. A community affair. We'll take you for a ride. Henson's Cab will take you there. We're making history. HDPP, chapter pauses. History supporting local causes. Streaming HDPP live. Betty is our queen bee. The sweetest honey candy. Dangerous Den here again. HDPP live. Hey, you know we keep it HDPP.
Oh, they sing it so well every week. You give them a clap. That's what I say. Good evening. Welcome along. Yes, it's us. It's another Sunday evening. Yes, I know. I know what you're thinking. Why is he wearing a hat? I know. I've been saving up for a HDPP hat now for weeks, and I got the last quid for one the other day. So I thought I'd put a new one on because my other one faded because I left it in the sun and it didn't have. So I put it on tonight because I'm proud of my HDPP hat. A hat. T-shirt. Hats are still available from Jasper's, by the way, if you fancy one. But we won't be having any more. So these will become collector's items in the future. So there we go. So make sure you get your HDPP cap. They're going to be collector's items. Well, Sunday night. Lovely to have your company. And already, isn't that amazing? I knew my phone would ring. Second, I told it not to ring. Typical. Anyway, it's lovely to have your company and having these distractions on a Sunday evening. All the usual features in the programme this evening, including six of the best, of course. We'll be testing the best of either your local knowledge and indeed your general knowledge and other things as well. We'll be doing that very, very shortly. We'll also, we've got some great features tonight. We're looking at the hosiery industry. We're looking at framework knitting and we've got a noser. My word, there is so much happening tonight. But before as I always do, let me just have a scroll up the list here. First in tonight was Annabelle. Well done, Annabelle, with a big kiwi as she fell over. So welcome, Annabelle. Anne Hunt quickly followed in, saying good evening, but it's a bit cool in Wall. Yes, it would be too. And David B. This was scary earlier on. This was scary. David B. Excuse me. Is this the chat room? Yeah. David Stamber came in, and then quickly followed by David S. The three Daves together. Daves. all coming together. Oh no, scary stuff. But however, they're in the room. Lovely to know that you're there, guys. Thank you for giving up a bit of your Sunday evening to be with us here on HDPP Live, my word. So we've got David Stamber, David Blower, and David S. all in the chat room together. They all came in together, almost like they came out of the pub and came straight into the chat room. Well done, lads. That's good. We've got a couple of Anns, though. Say Ann Hunt's there and what have you. And she said, 2 Anns together. I just don't have a bell. So I said to Anna, Bell, you've got a bell, surely. Anyway, there you go. Lovely. Dan Coburn's here as well this evening. Nice to know you're there. Along with Queen Bee, who is with us as well this evening. Dangerous Den, he's here again. I'm going to spend the morning with Dangerous Den tomorrow. I know. I'm taking extra tablets and I've got into security detail all coming up. I'm going to spend a bit of time, spend a little bit of time with Dangerous Den in the morning, sorting out 1 or 2 little issues here and there. So actually, that's going to be pretty good fun. I'm pretty sure of it as well. Jeff and Anna are both watching in from Brigg in Lincolnshire this evening. Nice to know that you're there, guys. Lovely to be with you yesterday lunchtime. As always, it goes without saying. So look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. Okay. Kath Denny's here. The birthday girl's in. Yay! Yes, it's the birthday girl. She's here. I thought she'd be doing better things than joining us this evening, but she's here. Bless her cotton sock. Oh, look, and right behind Mrs. Smuggley is Mr. Smuggley. Hello, not forgot this week. Yes. I'm not going to... I've decided... Resolution for this week at least, I am not going to tease you about your book that you haven't yet produced that you've been doing for ages, because that'd be totally wrong to keep bringing it up, wouldn't it? So I'm not going to mention the book at all. Okay, further on in the chat room as well, Jan Kirby's here along with Steve Gardner's. He made it tonight. He's not nodded off. He's had a few stressful weeks, as our Steve, and I know he gets comfortable at home. That I can't be bothered to just nod off. Yeah, I know. And so, Steve, glad you're there, mate. Probably enjoyed tonight, actually. Should be good. David Stamber says, we were on the doorstep waiting to come in, you know, earlier on. You were. Some people started gathering on my doorstep about 6:15 on a Sunday. Anyway, I mentioned it's Kath Denny's birthday today. So, first of all, let's all get round the... We always get the HDPP singers out when it's somebody's birthday. Kath, Mrs. Smuggley, birthday today. Let's all sing the song.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
Mrs. Smuggley.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, yes. Well done, Kath. I hope you had a lovely day. I wonder what the old man did. Did he treat you to a ride on his soapbox? Yeah. Did he treat you to a sneak peek at the book? He said, I wasn't going to mention that. Yeah, I don't know. I hope you've had a special treat from Mr. Smuggley himself this evening. Also, I want to say hello to the crops. The crops are in. We always know we can start when the crops are in. Yes, they're here at last. Absolutely at last. We're having quite a bit of interesting stuff with the crops just lately. What with us finding out a connection to Marjorie Payne, a second cousin once removed or something it is, and we're still finding out little bits more. We're working on it. Okay. Now, before we go into 6 of the best, I must just say, although I know she's not watching live this evening, I'd like to say hello to Jane Brown this evening. Sadly, little Jane, lovely lady she is, and sadly she's in hospital this evening. And she messaged me, said, sorry, Paul, I won't be able to join you. You know, I'm in hospital. I said, oh, dear, I'm sorry to hear that. So for all the members of HDPP and all your friends here in the chat room, as everything, Jane, get well soon. And we really want you back on a Sunday night, you and Tim, because it's just not the same without you. Yeah, there we go. Look, now then. Oh, dear. Yes, and Mrs. Smuggley says, thank you, everybody. I went to the cat cafe yesterday and loved it. Okay, if that's what if that's rocks your boat, fair enough. I'm not going to complain about that. And Alan Crop says, "I hope I'm not paying you by the hour for all the work you're doing." No, I only charge by the minute, mate. Okay, six of the best this evening. This is where we test your six of the best knowledge. Now remember, dangerous den. Keep off that keyboard, okay? I should have gotten them mooters. That would. I like it. I'll have to get one of them. Because Dangerous Den is now out again. Dangerous Den is out again. Like that. Because he were putting the answers in too soon. He got all of the thing, and he's apologised, and he put himself in self-confinement for a couple of weeks. But he's back out now. So we better set the questions first for six of the best. Right, okay, let me find it. Here we go, six of the best. Remember, don't put your answers anywhere near that screen, anybody. Keep it to yourselves. I think it's pretty easy tonight. Let's see how you find it this evening. Okay, so question number one, which reminds me, where's my music gone? It should be there. There it is. Right, question number one, a nice easy one to start with. Name the local beat Bobby who became mayor in the early 2000s. Now, I do appreciate, for those of you that don't live in Hinckley, I'm thinking of people, probably Dave B and Dave Blower. You probably wouldn't know this, to be totally fair to you, because you've not been in the town at that time. But however, lots of us, I'm sure, will know this gentleman. He was always in the paper. He'd done a lot of good work for the town back in the day. I want the name of the Beat Bobby who became mayor in the early 2000s. That, my friends, is your question number one. It's got to be easy. John's got it first go round. Oh, David S. I give up already. Don't worry, David. There are other questions coming which I'm sure you'll be able to answer. Question two. Your general knowledge. What did the Romans call Scotland? Besides other things, there's an official name for the Scots. What did the Romans call Scotland? Okay, not Picts or all that lot. We know that's part of the story, but they've got an official name. What did the Romans call Scotland? There's some things I could say, but oh dear. And said, I can't get this one with question one. Don't worry, Anne. Plenty coming up, which I'm sure you're going to know the answer to. Okay, then find the words for this TV series. There we go. Just fill in that, and you've got the title of a very well-known, very much loved, popular TV series. I will put it on the screen again in a minute, so you can get your dashes all and letters all in the right place. The idea is, fill in those gaps and it'll give you the TV series. Coming back to that in just a few moments' time, ladies and gentlemen, so stand by. Question number four. Now, this is interesting. Question number four. I've got to click a couple of buttons. I think this is easy. What's the theme tune this from? A big hit. Mrs. G's got it, so it's too easy. It's too easy, I tell you. Guess the theme tune. This very, very popular program used to be on all the time. Fantastic stuff. Why don't they do things like this now? We've got all the technology to do it now, but it was good for the day. That is Guess the Theme Tune this evening. And there you have it. Good evening. And now, question number 5. Can you tell me who are these two people on the screen? Used to be on the TV a lot, particularly 60s and mainly and 70s. But there you go. No longer on the TV these days. But who is it? Give the two names to those two well-known TV personalities of the day way back when. Yeah, there we go. I told you it was easy tonight. And I am rolling over last week's anagram. So let's go to it again, shall we? This is what we had last week. We didn't get a right answer. Aaron Contrabandist Hypotheses. That sounds really posh, that does. This is a local location and story, or folklore story, call it what you will, or a legend if you like. It's a local legend as well. We've had a question about this, but this is the first time we've converted it into an anagram. Aaron Contrabandist Hypotheses, a local location and a story to go with it. Mrs. G has cracked it. She knows what it is. So this has been verified by Mrs. G. You know how the BBC do verified by? Well, these are verified by Mrs. G. Jan Kirby said, I've not got the anagram. Can we have a clue? I'll have a think about that one. John Denny got number 3 because I work at Myra. Absolutely. There you go. Well done, John, already. But can you crack that anagram? A local location and a story, or local legend or folklore, call it what you will, but it's local. Trust me. There we go. Okay, very, very quickly through the questions one more time. Here we go. Name of the Beat Bobby who became mayor in the early 2000s. He was very, very happy. Oh, Paul, was that a clue? Was that a clue? Question number 2. What did the Romans call Scotland? They didn't call them over the wall. No, they didn't. But there was an actual name. Not, although they're referred to as the Picts and all that lot, but the Romans have got their own name for it, okay? And it's still in use today. Yes, it is. Trust me. But what was it? What did the Romans call Scotland? Okay, on to question number 3. Find the words. Mr. Denny, Mr. Smugly, he's got it already. So while he sits there with that see that big cat smile? See that big cat smile there? And it's an easy one, actually. And if you fill in those gaps, if you do that, I can't believe it. My phone keeps going off tonight. If you can do that for me, fill in those gaps, you can indeed find a TV series. Okay? Sweaty sock. Love it. Okay, and there you go. I think you all should have got that down with all your dish dashes and all the rest of it. Okay, on to question number 4. You guess that theme tune. It's easy tonight. Yep. When this used to come on, it was one of those that I used to like watching. I'm not into quiz shows, but this was something with a difference. Anyway, that's the theme tune. Can you guess it? I'm sure Mr. Wallace has got that one. I told him yesterday you should get it. If you don't, you can hang your head in shame. Lovely to hear it again, actually. And right, these 2 TV celebrities of the time back in the day, who are they? Yeah, they're always on, weren't they? Absolutely. There we go. And Aaron Contrabandist Hypotheses, a local location and story, or it's a local legend or local folklore. Local. Come on. Look, Anne says, I've got number 5. Yes, well done. And Crop. 1.5 up to now. I'll try and think of a clue for the Haniogram. I'll see if I can give you a leg up. Oh, was that a clue? I don't know. It might have been. You know me. Right. Okay then. So here we are on a Sunday evening, and I apologise if you've been hearing my phone going. Always wait until I'm doing this, then they start ringing me up. Right. Okay. I thought this week. A couple of things I want to bring to your attention, by the way. Our sing-along at St Mary's, back due to popular demand on Sunday the 16th. Free, open to all, come along, sing your heart out. It's great, honestly. It's real good, really good, real good, feel-good thing. It really, really is. Okay, so that's happening in June. Our social night, which went very well the other day, by the way, we had talk about Haitian Hornets. That was very interesting. Here's a quick list of what we're up to in the coming weeks, but please make a note of Saturday the 12th of October, because that's our next 60s, 70s night. We know the tickets are going to fly. We know that because a lot of people, I got asked in Little Car Park, literally Thursday morning, when is the next one? I'm not going to miss the next one. And there you go. So just keep that date, because I don't want people saying, oh, no one told me, you know. So there we go. So looking forward to that. That's going to be it. Before you know where you are, that will be here. And a quick shout out for the museum. Elizabeth I is coming. via Leslie Smith on Thursday, the 9th of May. That's a fundraiser. Of course, it's going to be at the. It's going to be at the Mary Foreign Centre. Okay, it's £10, but this lady is brilliant as Elizabeth I. Trust me, it is. Okay then. Right, time to get on to our first feature. I thought, I know. Let's look at the factories and let's go a little bit traditional this week, because last week we was off around the world with Azra on her tour of Pakistan and stuff, which was great. And I hope some of you have subscribed and you've been following through on that. And this week I thought, no, let's get back to basics. So I've made a note which one is this. So firstly, let's look back at our street projection. Remember this? A little while ago now, we were celebrating 300 years of the hosiery industry in Hinckley. And this little film is what we were showing on the walls of the Building Society down in Castle Street. Remember this? I think even Marie's in this. Enjoy. There we have it. Our reel celebrating the 300th anniversary of hosiery and knitwear in the town. Yeah, there we go. Which we did with the Heritage Action Zone. So HDPP, we get involved there. We get out there. Hi to Derek. Derek Price just joined. Derek, bless you. You're always looking after me, and you know what I mean. Thank you very much indeed. And I've just seen your message. Hope you get well. Hope you're out of where you are very soon, mate. Okay, lovely. Okay. Alan Crop said, yeah, I like that. Still as interesting as ever. Good photo of Marie at Bennett's. Yeah, I thought Marie was in there. Yes, there you go. Lovely. Nice to see it again. Every now and again, we fetch them out, dust them down, and play them again. It's great. It's great to see. Still to come tonight, of course, we've got a nose air. We've got a nose there from our Steve. We'll be doing that very, very soon as well. But how are you doing with Six of the Best? Now, some of the people tonight, some people, I'm surprised. I really thought some of you would get straight away. Now, I do have to say, Mrs. G has got tonight 6 of the best. But she's had advance prior notice to be working on some of the questions before tonight's broadcast. But she's now confirmed after she heard the theme tune, which she then got right. And now she's claiming 6 of the best. There we go. Brilliant. So, hope you enjoyed that so far. Let's very, very quickly go through those questions one more time. We just keep them going, and I'll try and give you a clue for the anagram if you like. So, I want you to name the Beat Bobby who became mayor in the early 2000s. He was a happy sort of guy all the time, wasn't he? There is a subtle clue. What question 2? What did the Romans call Scotland? Not what did the Romans do for us, but what did the Romans call Scotland? And Mrs. G got that a moment ago. She said, "Oh yes." She said, "Is it?" I said, "Yes, that's right." She said, and then she also has a smugly sort of smile, you know. Yeah. Okay then. Question number 3. I'll leave it on the screen in a moment or two. That is a well-known, much-loved TV series. Mr. Smugly got it straight away because he works at Myra, and as soon as you get it, we think, oh yeah, of course it is. It's just one of those, oh yeah, that's nice, that's good, I like that. So there we go. So how are you doing with that one? Okay, I guarantee you would have heard of this TV series. Absolutely, 100%. Okay then, on to the theme tune tonight. And once again, I'll just let that play while I go through the next question as well to save a little bit of time. So what is this the theme tune to? And while you're listening to that, who were these TV personalities in the 1970s particular? Mr. Smugly's just come through with a smugly smile. He says, I've got the anagram. Oh, you see. It can be done, and I'm trying to think of a subtle clue. I think I've got one. And we go on to Aaron Contrabandist Hypotheses, which is very, very posh. A local location and a story. Just don't go barking up the wrong tree. I think that's a fair enough thing. I'm saying no more after that. Right. Okay. Can't say no more than that, really. Now, I do a Jopalize earlier on. I hadn't put this light on here, you see. And I thought, I'm looking a bit dark tonight. And I realised I hadn't put this light on. Too busy getting everything else ready. Anyway, so well done, John, from Anne Hunt. And Dave B said, I have an inspired guess for number 2. Nothing for the others. Oh, come on, David. Daniel Coburn, definitely, yeah, he says, Mr. Smuggy's definitely been on the smug powder this week. We've out of stock. We haven't got any more. We've run out of smugliness. I think he's bought all the latest export order up, but there you go. Good. Okay, on to our second feature this evening. Like I say, we're just celebrating our industry as such, particularly the hosiery and the knitwear industry. So I thought this one will follow through. We haven't seen this one for quite a little while. Let's look all at the history behind the framework knitters.
This is Martin Green in his Framework Knitters Workshop. It's much like many of the workshops which once existed all over the East Midlands in the 18th and 19th centuries. These huge knitting frames require the knitter to use both hands and both feet and are entirely manually operated. The first stocking frames were somewhat smaller than the ones you see here and were invented in 1589 by this gentleman, William Lee of Calverton in Nottinghamshire. Knitting is a complicated business compared with weaving, and so it was a long time before a machine could be invented to do the job without dropping all the stitches. The secret was the bearded needle, this needle with a hook on the end to catch the new stitch and hold it safe while the old stitch passes over the top and off the end of the needle. Let's take a look at what's happening. Here you can see the thread carrier bringing the new length of yarn across the shafts of the needles. Behind it, the jack sinkers come down between alternate needles, forming loops which will become the new row of stitches. Now the second set of sinkers have come down, forming a loop over every needle shaft. The sinkers will now push the new row of stitches forward into the beards of the needles. Next, the presser bar will come down to close the beard so that the old row of stitches can be pushed safely off the end of the needle. And now the sinkers come down in front of the knitting and pull it back to the top of the needle shafts so that the whole process can begin again.
Draws the stitch between the needles, and then you press, and obviously I've pressed down with the left treadle for that, and then you press down with the left foot to divide the loop, pull it underneath the beard of the needle, let go of it, shut the beard with the presser bar, the middle treadle, pull the loop onto the nib of the beard, release the presser bar, the middle treadle, and then pull the stitch over the top of the needle, over the arch and back to the starting position. These are the...
That's one set of sinkers going down.
They're the jack sinkers that have come down and pulled a large loop between every other needle, and then you press down with your left foot on the sinking pedal and divide those stitches between all the needles, and then pull that divided stitch under the beard, let go of it, shut the beard, pull the stitch over the top. And when you put the whole thing together like that, they call it meeting the presser. And when you first start, you can't meet the pressure. You do everything really in slow motion and then gradually build up your speed, and when you can do it as one continuous motion, they refer to it as meeting the presser. The person that showed me really most of how to work these machines was a chap called Jeff Oxley at Hertz of Chilwell, and he didn't used to divide, and I don't. And so what I've just shown you isn't actually what I normally do. I pull the stitch, I don't actually divide, I just rest the dividers on the top of that large loop, pull it underneath, shut the beard, and then as I pull it forward it divides just there. And so because I don't divide, it actually saves the split second. Every second counts.
On this particular machine, Martin has a second row of needles which interact with the piece of work to form the lacy pattern that you see here. Martin doesn't make his own needles, but each pair of needles has to be set into a piece of lead, as you see here. This is in order to fit it onto the machine. And these pieces of lead are cast by Martin himself in special moulds, which he's showing us here.
The machine number H4 and the gauge 34 gauge. And if you open that up, you can see there's a, by tradition they always left one in there, and you can see it's got the tail on, hasn't been chopped off with a pair of pliers, the 2 needles in there. Yeah. We call it the needle mould, but it actually makes the lead that goes on the end of the needle.
In his workshop, Martin also has several circular knitting machines. Known as Griswolds, they were invented in the 19th century and are used for knitting socks. Framework knitting was once one of the most important industries of the East Midlands, but it died out in the mid-19th century for various reasons, not least of which was the invention of steam-powered knitting machines, which gave rise to huge hosiery factories such as Cora's of Leicester. Today, Martin is one of the few people left who can operate the frame, keeping alive a tradition which started with William Lee in Nottinghamshire over 400 years ago.
There we go. Isn't that interesting? And to hear those machines going. I mean, I used to work knitting machines many years ago. Didn't have noises like that, but when you've got that times 16 or 20, it soon gets to you, you know. I know. But isn't it fascinating? Actually, it's like she said, until the steam operated processes came in, and of course, as you know, and I'm always proud to boast that. Here in Hinckley, it was Daniel Payne that brought his moved to Hinckley from Stoke Golding and had the very first steam-powered factory premises in Wood Street. You see, he was an innovator. So we've got so much heritage here in the town to be proud of. So it's fantastic. They're lovely little films. Well, Kath said, "I'm loving these little films." Yeah, exactly. Right, we're going to go one more time through 6 of the best, and then we're going to go and have our nosy this evening. And also, as you're looking in the chat, we're saying about people, it says only 23 watching, Paul. Come on, folks. So I said, come on, please like. But you can probably see now the lighter nights here, people are sometimes pottering. Well, if it weren't raining, you'd be pottering about on the garden or sitting outside enjoying a glass of wine or something, which is why I'm thinking just through the summer months, we take a little rest from the live streams and bring them back for the, as the nights start to draw in again. That's where I'm going with that. And it also gives me a little rest as well. However, less about that, more of this. 6 of the best. Here we go. Named the Beat Bobby, who became mayor in the early 2000s. He was a very happy chap. Is that a subtle clue there? Oh, yes, absolutely. Question 2. What did the Romans call Scotland? Amongst other things. Question 3, the TV series. Fill in those gaps there. And that will give you a very, very well-known, much-loved TV series. It's been remade as well. I need not say any more about that one. Question 4, the theme tune. Is it going round? Is it an earworm to you now? Yeah, it could be for some, but for a lot of us, used to love it when it came on. This was, I will give you a clue as far as saying it was a Channel 4 program, and it was very, very popular. In fact, I wish they'd bring it back because I think it'd be brilliant. I really do. With the technology they got today, they could eat this. They could eat it for breakfast. So there we go. That is your guess, the theme tune. Oh, come on, you know it. second you hear when I tell you what it is, you'll say, "Oh, I remember that." Who are these two well-known faces off the TV, sort of 60s and 70s? Pretty easy, actually, but there we go. And so I'm just remembering the story about the lady. However, so who are they? And here we go. Aaron, Contrabandist Hypotheses, a local location and story, folklore, call it what you will. Don't go barking up the wrong tree, is all I shall say to that. Right, okay then. As we rattle through tonight, and I think I'm really pleased with myself because I've kept my notes tonight and everything, and it's been a pretty well organised night so far. However, we have a nosy to come up now. Mr. Picker, we're 1 week behind Steve's picture films at the minute, so we know we've got a brand new nosy next week as well. It's great when you save them up a little bit, isn't it? So, all settle back for our nosy with our Steve. Here he comes.
Alrighty then, so in this week's video we are indeed, as you can see, starting things off a little bit differently because as you can see we're on the National Library of Scotland side by side maps. Now then, to the left, that map is dated from around about 1885 up until 1915, and to the right, of course, you've got the Bing Hybrid, which is a little bit similar to Google Earth. Right, so this week then, I'm staying in North Yorkshire, not all that far from the city of York, so we'll start at York for as reference because I need to find the A64 road, because 5, 10, 15 minutes ago I found something really interesting. And we've got a little bit of a challenge for today's video because this is how all my videos pretty much start virtually. They all start at the maps and then I go out into the real world and find what I've found on the map. Right then, where's the A64? Because what we're looking for is not too far from here. There's the A64, that purple line. So if we follow that up and we'll try and find somewhere known as Kirkham where there's actually a really interesting ruined abbey, you know. But we're not going to that. Right, there's Kirkham Abbey. Now, a little to the east of Kirkham, we should come across quite a small settlement known as Eddlethorpe. Right then, there's Eddlethorpe. Now, as you can see, on the map side of things, it was a small settlement back then. But on the right, Eddlethorpe is pretty much the same in 2024. There's not an awful lot happening. It's not a big place, settlement whatsoever. But what I did notice, on this road here, known as Ruffin Lane, I was following that and I came to this area here in the centre with all these trees. Now there's a stream there. Now as you can see on the left it says Mill House, which is a bit of a farm now. We know where it's going, don't you? Now look at that. And I always get excited when I find old mills that are no longer amongst trees and undergrowth. So the challenge is to go down there today and see if we can actually find any remains of this mill before we go. Like I say, this is how it all starts on this channel. But let's just run the rule over it. So as you can see, we've got a mill dam. We've got a big mill pond there. Now, bearing in mind, we can't see anything at the minute because we've got all these trees here. Now, to the north of the mill dam, you can see a little structure, a little rectangular shaped structure. That is indeed Eddlethorpe Mill, a corn mill. Not a very big mill at all, but it didn't need to be because it's not a big settlement. So there weren't a lot of people taking corn down there, you wouldn't imagine. But what do we do now? How can we see if there's any more clues before we set off? Well, this is what you do. You go on the options here, and then you get onto LiDAR, and that shows you all the bumps and what have you. Now, the mill dam or the mill pond partially is not there anymore, but as you can see now where the arrow's pointing, you've got a right hand side bank there, but it's to the north. It's the main mill dam that's of interest. Now look at that where the arrow's pointing. That looks quite substantial, don't it? Now for me, I might be wrong, I might be talking out my backside. Now for me, we'll find something down there, even if it's just a pile of bricks. I know, not very exciting, is it? But surely there'll be some sort of masonry, engineering brickwork, red or blue, probably red for the time period, I imagine, I don't know, or stonework at least. So we'll go and have a look. Regarding the mill, I really don't know. I can't see a lot other than the actual tail race, as you can see now where the arrow is. But let's just switch back over to the Bing Hybrid. Now what I did see before I went onto the LiDAR is this pylon. Now this trackway where the pylon is, I've actually just looked on my Ordnance Survey map, and that is a bit of a byway. So we can go down there and not get as collars felt, but when we get to this pylon that you can see there, that'll be pretty much where we need to be. Anyway, oh, and before we go anywhere, hello, hey up and hey diddling, my name is Steve. Right, let's go for a nosy. Alrighty then, so here we are. Here's his trackway, just as I predicted. There's his beck down there. They call them becks up in this neck of the woods, don't they? I really like that, a beck. Now that is what our mill used to be driven by. Alrighty then, so the temperature of this very juicy looking Sunday roast gravy has just gone up a notch, because there indeed is our monstrosity of a pylon. And through there, you've got some water. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, what's significant about that, Stephen? Well, I'm 100% certain what we're looking at there is a mill pond. Here's this ancient track here. It drops off slightly there. Water there. Now look at this here. So if we go through here, that, I'm pretty confident, this is our mill dam, 100%. Look at that. That is a man-made bank. That ain't happened by accident. Nature's not done that. And I can hear water cascading over there because that brook is over there. Get round there, Stephen, you're all shouting. Get round there. Well, I'm on my way round, boys and girls, and I. Hold your horses, as they say in North West Leicestershire, particularly if you're from Ibstock. This is 100% a mill dam. You can see it as plain as day now. Look at this. I know there's undergrowth everywhere. Okay, it's dropping off there. You see it? Hey, up, what we got here? Oh yeah. Out as he gets stung to death. Oh yeah, we've got old stone. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We've got old stone, we've got old stone, we've got mill archaeology, we've got mill archaeology. Oh, right, there's a clue. That is 100% old world left from a bygone era, that is. This is to do with our mill. Oh, I wish I'd got my little shovel with me. I nearly brought it on holiday, you know. I nearly brought it with me. This is a mill dam. I can hear water flowing, I can hear it cascading, like there's an overflow or something. Yes, yes, here we go, here we go. Look at that, we've got red engineering brickwork that is so old, maybe from the late 18th century. I knew there'd be something here. I said to you, didn't I, when we were looking at them maps and that LiDAR, I said to you, that mill pond is there still, so there probably will be something left, in it, like a bank or something, or masonry or brickwork. There's his brickwork. What we got down here then? Oh yes, I'm liking what I see now. I'm loving what I see now. Now look at that. You're thinking, look at what? Well, look at it. Look at this. You know, beside that track over there, part of an old mill. God knows how old the mill is as well. Wowzers, wowzers. Right, what else can we see around here then? Hey, I told you, didn't I? I knew we'd find something here after looking at that LiDAR and seeing the outline of that mill pond still been there, you know, not filled in. I knew we'd find something. Do you know what? We've actually found more than I thought we were going to find. We're not quite done yet. We need to do some detective work. But one of my favourite things to find when I'm out doing this is these red bricks, engineering bricks, always to be found around where there's water, etc. Or blue engineering bricks. Absolutely fantastic. There you go. You heard it here first. But I'm absolutely made up. We've sat there, we've looked at the maps, we've come out and done the field work to a place where nobody hardly comes to. There's not a lot of information on this mill, as I've already said to you at Eddlefort. But I'd imagine it's maybe late 18th century. It may be a bit later, early 19th. Who knows? But it's bloody old. Right, so what we need to do now, we need to get his detective minds in gear, don't we? I don't mean like Inspector Taggart or something. What are you? There's been a murder or something. Or, well, that's enough of the shit impressions and what have you. Do you know what I mean? Oh, we need to get up here, we're slipping about everywhere. So the overflow is down there where we've just been standing. This here is that channel I think I showed you on the maps. So this is the tail race of the mill. I'm very confident in that actually. Now, I've got to be careful here because there might be a bee's nest. There's a very old barrel there as well. Was that part of the mill once? Who knows? Yeah, we have got to be careful. There may actually be a nest of bees down here. We don't want to pee them off, do we? In his excitement. Now then, that means we've got to go back up here because the mill indeed sat just here somewhere. Oh, I wish I'd have brought that shovel with me to have a poke about. Ah, yes. As they usually do, trees growing out of stonework. Right then, they are, look. Now, I'm not going to put money on it and say that they're the actual mill building themselves. So, not sure about these being the main structure. I mean, they may well have been part of it. It's been pushed about and pulled about now by this tree here. But that is 100% the tail race where the water left the mill. So there would have been a wheel pit here somewhere. And by the looks of this place, it was undershot as well. But I might be totally wrong. So let's head over here. Now then, we've got all sorts going on here. We've got the remains of big stones protruding out all over the ocker. Beginning to paint a bit of a picture of it now. Ah, oh, hold on. Right, what we've got here? We've got some stonework, or is that just where it's been chucked? Or is that in situ? There's one here that's fallen away from where it should be. Is that stonework or is it brickwork? That's part of the structure, 100%. There's a bit of a line going across here. Oh, I wish I'd brought my shovel now. Right, so if we make our way down here, right, we're now stood in the mill pond. And there you can see quite clearly. So that engineering brickwork, that is part of the mill dam. And here, look at this, you've got a recess here, look. Now for me, that is a sluice, or where a sluice used to be. Now then, maybe about here somewhere, there would have been some grooves on this side and on that side that controlled a mechanism up and down for a sluice gate, because I've seen this time and time before. So for me, that is your sluice gate. We hold it right there, right then. Right, so what we've got here, this recess then, so I better explain, because you're thinking, well, where's the inlet then? Well, if I'd have had my little shovel with me today, if we'd have dug down about a foot, we would have indeed at some point come across a bit of barrel arching for the brickwork where the inlet of the sluice was to allow the water to enter the mill and power the wheel. But great this is, isn't it? Red engineering brickwork, we'll love a bit of it. Anyway, let's get on with the exploration. We know by now that the mill sat just over there on this side. That is the sluice. On that side is the overflow. I'm very confident in that after looking at that map with you earlier. So I think we can conclude at this stage that is our sluice gate. Ah, hold on. Yeah, we've got stonework here as well. Oh, I wish I had a shovel. I'd dig all this off. There could have been, this, I reckon there's a bit of a stone bridge here, you know, what you could have walked across to allow the water to go beneath. Alrighty then, so this video has just become a 2-for-1 offer. I know, amazing, the deals you get on this channel, eh, and all that. But now, when I was finished looking at that other mill, I went home and done what I usually do, got straight on the maps, looking at this beautiful area here. Now then, just behind me, that is the village of Welburn, or Welburn in North Yorkshire. I'm staying about 6 or 7 miles from here. Over there in the distance is Castle Howard, an area of brilliance, it has to be said, some of the architecture over there. Now then, I was looking on some maps, as per usual, when I got back to the accommodation the other night. And where we're going to now, I happen to be scanning that area. And on it, as you can see now, it says on that map, which is dated between 1880 and I think 1915, it says Old Mill Race. And of course, my eyes lit up because On the National Library of Scotland, there's an even older map facility. So I quickly switched to that, a map from the 1840s to 1880s, and actually found what you're looking at now on the screen. Absolutely amazing. Welburn Mill. Now then, that mill, there's a bit more history on that than there was at the last place. I couldn't find anything on the last place we went to. And in the 18th and 19th century, it was actually run by the Todd family. But in the 19th century, it also became obsolete until the local village of Welburn decided to actually use the mill as a pumping station. So ever since I parked the car, I've been walking a public footpath, which I think actually used to connect Welburn to this mill, which is just down here in this beautiful little valley. It's got to be said. It's beautiful. The birds are singing. Summer's on its way, folks. But this, I'm pretty sure, would have been the main trackway into the mill from Welburn. Now, as you can see, it's absolutely saturated. It's no surprise really with the amount of rain we've had for months and months on end. But it reminds me of Folly Mill, the mill that we went to in Cheshire a few weeks back now. Just listen to that. You can hear how wet it is underfoot. But it would have been very awkward for villagers, I imagine, to bring corn down to this corn mill. Now, maybe they could have got from the other side, but it's a long way round, I suppose. Not everybody had a horse, unless the mill owners had their own horses and they went out every other day on the rounds to fetch corn from local villagers. That's something to ponder, isn't it? That makes more sense to me, I reckon. What do you reckon? Anyway, we're here. Look at this place. Beautiful where it sits. What a stunning location. So the first thing you're greeted with when you walk through the footpath gate is this old structure here. Now that may well be an old house because it's actually a decent little distance away from the mill itself, so I wouldn't have thought that it was a large outhouse building. I could be wrong, but it could well be some sort of cottage. Pretty old ruin, isn't it? Oh, I wish they could talk. I wish they could talk. I really do. We'd be here all day, wouldn't we, listening amongst the sound of the birds. What a beautiful location. So just down there, I'm pretty sure that's the wheel pit of the mill. We'll get to that in a minute. But then you've got this structure here, what remains of it anyway. And what function this used to serve, I really don't know. Maybe it's part of the mill. Now, when you look at the old map, it looks like either side of this old trackway, there were two buildings spanning the mill race. So maybe, just maybe, this spanned right to the other side. Now, I went down there the other day when I came down here and looked on the other side, but I couldn't find many remains. Again, if I'd got my little shovel with me, I'd have had a poke about in the undergrowth. So just look at that. You know, what we're looking at here is very old, and it does say that they were working this mill from the 1700s, the 18th century, you know. But I'd say some of this could be even older, you know. What do you think? It could be. Now, from what I've read, the mill is actually mentioned in the Domesday Book. Now, that doesn't mean to say that all these buildings are as old as that. Of course it doesn't. But there was a mill on this site, and of course technology progressed, you know, from that period of the 1080s when the Domesday Book was written, and things would have been improved down here significantly. You imagine anyway. What do I know? But clearly we've got the remains of a wall here from that main ruined structure. So maybe this did come all the way down here and over the other side, because that is the artificial channel. That, at that point, is the tail race. The water came in from up there. I'll show you that in a second. That is very interesting. It's a beautiful place, isn't it? Just look at that. Beautiful little secluded valley here. So the actual date of Welburn Mill actually being made obsolete for actual milling is quite unclear. All I know is that it was in the 19th century, so the 1800s at some point. But then here, we've got the wheel pit. And it was at this point, some point in the 1800s, that they decided to make this into a pumping station to pump water back up to Welburn. Now then, if we go in this wheel pit, but I keep calling it a wheel pit, I'm pretty convinced that it is. Because just down here, you've got, you see that bit of a gap there? I think that's where the wheel would have been fixed on one side. But as I mentioned, this was converted to a pumping station, so they say. And I think here, we've actually got some old gubbins that were to do with the pumping of water. So let's just have a look at this. This is very old in itself. Of course, not as old as the mill. Now, what function this served, I ain't got a Scooby-Doo. You know, definitely water was running through here by the looks of it anyway. I mean, the original machinery that was here when they were milling, they managed to actually apparently convert some of it. But the actual mill race, look at this then. So, for me, we've got some brickwork round the top there. This has been rendered, and this is the inlet for the water. Now, originally, I don't think that would have been there. Maybe there's a cast iron pipe beneath that, you know, I reckon. And I think they added that and changed it when they turned it into a pumping station. Now, it's on its own bank here, a man-made bank. All this is man-made. And if you follow it up here, you see, I think there might have been an open channel here, you know, when it was a mill. Then they filled it in and put a pipe there when they turned it into a pumping station. Now there's the inlet at this end, grated off. They didn't want big amounts of debris going down there and probably blocking the pump off where the near where the actual wheel pit is. That's just my thoughts on it anyway. Right, oh, I was just about to say this is great today because when I came down the other day I'd not got my wellies on, so I couldn't walk in these man-made channels here. What I'm going to show you is amazing behind the camera shortly, but I'm actually sinking. Well, my left foot is, I think it's going to pull, oh no, it's sucking me in. I've got right, I'm out, just. Right, so the main beck or the brook or stream is over there. This here, it's hard to make out. There's a man-made channel there, all artificial. I'm struggling to stand. But just here, look. Now then, that is some serious stonework. It's really big. That is 1 metre wide by almost ½ a metre. This is when I should have my tape measure with me. Now just here, where this water's flowing down in this direction, there would have been an open channel there once, I'm pretty confident. That is the mill race. But just here, really I've got to watch where I'm standing, it's really soft. That is an overflow channel. I'll show you in a second. In fact, let me just show you this, it's extraordinary. I didn't see this the other day either. So, we've got some sort of gubbins here. Let's get the moss off it. Very interesting. Ah, look at that, that's not been uncovered for a very, very long time. Now, I'm not actually sure what this is as such, but what I do know is, to a point, it's some sort of valve look. See that? You'd have had some sort of tool that's slotted on there that you could turn. Now, you could argue, well, that's your sluice gate, isn't it? Possibly, maybe this is something to do with the pumping house that was later added at the actual wheel pit site. I'm not sure, if I'm honest with you. I don't know. But that is well and truly in situ. That is very, very interesting. Very. I mean, look at all this. It's almost old worldly, isn't it? Got a groove in it here, look, so is that significant? Was there a gate here, and was a piece of metalwork or something slotted in there to do with a gate? the sluice gate? I really don't know. I mean, these blocks, of course, what's that? About 9-inch thick, that is, but they're really big. I mean, how the hell are you transporting all this down here on horseback? You know, it don't make sense, does it? I mean, maybe the road was better than what it is now, the way in. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Shit. So the main mill is just there on its own artificial, man-made mill stream, mill race. Now just here, you've got the Cranbeck, which has flowed for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. Now then, I think this path takes you to a place called Hutton's Ambo, something like that. But this old trackway, which would have been treacherous in the winter to get to and from to this mill, has got, we can't go that way, has got this beautiful old bridge here. And I couldn't get down to it properly the other day because, like I said, I didn't have the old wellies on. So we'll have a look at it, because this itself is really old, probably built when the mill was. Look at that. It's quite special, that, isn't it? Beautiful old bridge. It's seen many feet and hooves go over it in the past, that, as you know, to and from this mill. Well, unfortunately, that concludes today's video. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. This has been absolutely fantastic, this one today. You know, the first mill that we went to was really interesting, finding what was left in the undergrowth there. Really special, I thought, anyway. I was getting all excited. And then I managed to find this place. This is incredible. On a public footpath as well. Absolutely magical down here. The birds are singing. I can hear the sound of water just over there a few yards away. It's absolutely perfect. There isn't really anywhere else in the world I'd want to be apart from being down here. What a beautiful county North Yorkshire is. It's got everything, isn't it? You know, the whole of the UK is really, for such a small island, it's just so diverse in its landscape and all this old heritage that we've got scattered about everywhere. The old wheelhouse. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and share it. And please do give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, because that really helps with the algorithms. Don't ask me why, I don't know. But I have been told and informed that's how it works. Helps your videos do even better if people start giving it a thumbs up. Anyway, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.
Another award-winning noser from our Steve, who's just come into the chat room, ladies and gentlemen. I think he's well worthy of a little... yeah, well done, Steve. You made it. He didn't know what day of the week it was. Yeah. Well done, mate. Glad you made it in the end. And funnily enough, I was watching that and I thought, we've got to... Guys, now this is serious. We've got to have a nosy song. You know, we've got the HDPP song. Well, I started, while I was watching that, I thought, we need a nosy song for Steve. Steve, I think it wants to go something like this. If you go down for a nosy today, then don't forget your boots. If you go down for a nosy today, you better go in cahoots. 'Cause Steve is there and nobody's there and all of Heritage lying there. So just da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You see where I'm going with that, can't you? I think there's some mileage in that. Do you want it? Who said do it again? If you go out for a nosy today, then don't forget your boots. If you go out for a nosy today, you better go in cahoots. 'Cause Steve is there and nobody's there and all of our heritage lying there. And then you want, so just go out. Dun, 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 dun. So just go out. There's something in there. There is something in there. There's something in there. And I am already, just a minute, I'm just writing copyright notice on that. Yep. Look at this. Daniel Coburn. Steve is good at singing. Get Vinny on the guitar. So there you go. You've got the opening. You can do that for us in June, Steve. You can play it live in the bandstand for your groupies. Okay. If you go down for a nosy today, I like that. Don't forget your boots. If you go down for a nosy today, you better go in cahoots. 'Cause Steve is there and nobody's there and all our heritage lying there. Now, you just need the last bit now. Okay? Yeah, don't forget your shovel. I was trying to think of something that rhymed with shovel. Yeah, but you're quite right, Alan Croppers. All the fun we have on these live streams. It's amazing. Just make it up as you go along. And that's the great thing about doing things live. It's not what I call dumbed. Because I didn't know I was going to do that silly blooming song and make an idiot of myself. But for your pleasure, I will do it anyway. Whereas when it's all recorded and sterilised, it's not the same, is it? So there is the nosy song. I'm sure Steve will elaborate on it a bit more, but I've planted the seed. A copyright notice is already on its way. So there you go. Don't do it. Steve's Nosy next week, like I say, is a good one too. We'll be back, of course, next week at the usual time. But before we go and let you get on with your Sunday night, we've got 6 of the best to get through to give you answers. This is when I have to give a... Okay, Dennis, this is when you can put your answers in. Right, okay. So, question number 1. Here we go. I want you to name the Beat Bobby who became mayor in the early 2000s. Quite easy for us ones that have lived in the town that long. I do understand that, of course, that some of you haven't lived in the town for a long time. So anyway, Jan's in with that one, of course. She's got Bill Joy. And I did try to give you a sort of clue. I said he was a happy sort of guy. Yes. Bill Joy, MBE. Did a lot for getting CCTV in the town and things like that. And I haven't seen Bill for a little while, but I used to work with Bill at Fossway Radio in the late 1990s. We used to have quite a laugh. I used to call him Dr. Nooker. Just an in-joke. Yeah, see, lots of people getting it quite right, yes. So give yourself a point if you got Bill Joy. That is who we were looking for on number 1. Okay, now then, let me click over onto our next one. What did the Romans call Scotland? And it's still got that name up there today. Did you know? Let's see who gets this one right. I'm sure there'll be some clever people from Brig in a moment. Oh, Jan. Yeah. Caledonia. Dave B said Hibernia. No, it's Caledonia. Look, even Mr. Smuggley's in on that one too. Grussett's right, quite right with Caledonia. Annabelle said they called it whatever they liked. Yeah, well, I think you can see that it's Caledonia. Okay. And David Stump has just caught up with it with Bill Joy there. Yeah. So it's Caledonia is the correct answer. I do always have to allow for people probably on a slower internet connection. By the time they've seen this and then they put their answer in by the time it gets through to me. So sometimes it sort of appears out of sync somewhat. But thing is, you've got it right, David Starnbrook. No problem. Question number 3. Mr. Smuggley got this, so already he's got it. He's already got it ready to paste in the box. I know. So if you fill all those letters in, you'll find a TV series much loved, and lots of you have got it. Well done indeed to Jan, to John, to Dennis. All creatures great and small. which gives me a clue. What about when we have our old school sing-along? We have All Creatures of Our God and King. That's a good one. Another one of God's greatest hits there. That's one to do. Yeah, you've all getting that one right. Yeah. Yes, and poor David, yes, he's one step behind with this, David. But yes, keep it coming. Yes, All Creatures, Great and Small. Is what we're looking for number 3. Right, okay then, so stand by. I want you to tell me the answer to this theme tune, because Jan can't get it. I know you're all going to put it in. Come on then, Mr. Smugly, he's got it right. So Jan, can you remember it now? Dennis says, no idea. I find that incredible, Dennis. Really? Yeah, Treasure Hunt, it's what it is. We watched it for the cheeky Annika Ross cheeky. Oh, yeah, you get it? Yeah, not Challenge Annika, but it was Treasure Hunt. Challenge Annika is more recent, actually, as such. Yeah, it was Treasure Hunt is what we were looking for. And like I say, a great program. And I think they could do a great remake of it now. I really. Dennis Perkins, I don't remember it. Can't you remember flying around in a helicopter, mate, and the cameraman running after Annika Rice, and that's why she got Rear of the Year? Oh, well. John Dennis said, I watched it for the beach buggy. He would. Anyway, moving on. Well done if you got Treasure Hunt for our theme tune. Now then, these two faces from the TV of the 60s and the 70s particularly, and I want their names, please. Daniel Coburn. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Russet comes in. Yes, she's got it right. So has John Denny. So has Jan Kirby. Yes, David S. Yes, and it's Fanny Craddock. And Freddie Parrot-Face Davis. Quite correct. And poor Fanny Craddock got banned from being on the TV again after she was on about somebody's, was it muffins or something? Soggy muffin. Anyway, different connotations were read into that anyway. So there you go. Yeah, Fanny Craddock and Freddie Parrot-Face Davis. I say Parrot-Face. That's how he used to talk, didn't he? I say Parrot-Face. Right, okay, and the anagram question. Well done, David. He's with us all the way. Aaron, contrabandist hypotheses, a local location and story. I'll let the others do it. Yes, Mr. Dennis correct. Yes, so is Mr. Perkins correct, with the correct answer being Captain Shenton's tree, Ashby Road. There. He hit up a tree, and the tree was there till 1943, and it blew down in a storm. But there is plaques to it on Ashby Road. Indeed, there is also a plaque at Hinckley District Museum out in the garden. So there we go. Now then, good. Well, there you go. Good. So let's have your totals then, please, ladies and gentlemen, if you would be so kind. Let's see who has got the highest score in 6 of the best this very, very evening. Alan Crop, 2 for us tonight. 2 for us. John Denny's got a 6 now. Oh, now did you feel the real smug? 6. I work at Myra. Russet's got 2. And let's see who else got 4 for Anne. Bless you, Anne. She got 4. 3 for Daniel Coburn tonight. Jeff Wallace 5. We fell with the anagram. Did not think that. I thought Anna would have helped you with that one. Definitely tonight with Captain Shenton. Queen Bee's got 4. Well done, Queen Bee. Yippee, says Jan. 5 for me. I can't remember the treasure hunt music. You mean you can't remember? Brilliant. It is brilliant. It really is. And I've got some more great TV themes to play in our Guess the Music things coming up. So there we go. Lovely. Can't you remember the helicopter? And she was running here and there, getting the clue. Stop the clock, I've got the clue. And all that lot. Let's bring it back. Let's have Treasure Hunt back. It's much better than a lot of this blooming reality nonsense business, I'll tell you. Right. And Derek Price, bless you, Derek, said, I have failed miserably tonight. Listen, Derek, the fact that you're here and you had a little go is the main thing. Doesn't matter whether you got any score or not, that you gave up some of your time to be with us. Jan says, I remember the programme, but I can't remember the music. Yes, let's have an inquiry. Well, listen, that just about brings us to the end of our live stream this evening. I hope you've enjoyed it. And like I say, we will take a summer break because of, I think, viewing figures are bound to go lower. They're rather fed up with all this silly face, or indeed they've got better things to do on a Sunday evening. So we will in a few weeks' time. I'll let you know when we'll have a couple of months off and then bring it back. We'll make sure we're back for those dark nights. Can anybody tell me when spring is going to start, please? And we're going to start getting some sunshine, because it just seems to be a long time. Whether it's me or not, I don't know. But still. Dave B said, I've not watched much telly for 50 years. I bet the last programme you watched was Coronation Street and Coronation Street with Martha and Ina in the and Mrs. Coldwell in the snug. Yeah, I bet you'd. Oh, memories. Anyway, thanks for joining me tonight, and with Sue, of course, thank you very much for being here. I hope you'll be there with us next Sunday, 7:30. We've got another nosy, more local features, of course, plenty of fun, and listen, there's rubbish on the telly, so you might as well watch this rubbish for a while anyway, and because who knows, and maybe we'll have the full lyrics ready to go for the nosy song. Steve, we've got to do it. We've got to do that. There's some mileage in it, trust me. Until next week at 7:30, remember, keep it HDPP, keep it live. See you then. Take care. Ta-da. Oh, hello. You've come back. I thought you'd had enough of it by now. Oh, you're a glutton for punishment, you are. This is part of the programme we don't talk about. We never mention it in the main part. Those of you that have got wise, no, just to hang around a little, because I always try to give you a few little dad jokes and stuff, yeah. So, thank you for all your comments, by the way, in the chat room this evening, your interactions. It's great. I want to send you to bed tonight with I'm going to do some toilet jokes tonight. So, if you're all ready to go with some some toilet jokes. Yeah. Toilet paper. What a rip-off. Did you hear about the constipated accountant? He couldn't budget. One that made me laugh earlier on, I don't know why. What did Mr. Spock find in the toilet? The captain's log. Look. That still makes me. I read that this morning. I don't know why, and it just caught me funny bone. And Mrs. G couldn't get out, and I was just crying with that. I don't know why. Anyway, how many men does it take to put a toilet seat down? Who knows? It's never been done. What do toilets and anniversaries have in common? Men always miss them. And finally, I knew you'd like these. And now, A man went into a public toilet to relieve himself. The first cubicle was in use, so he went into the next one. And as he took down his trousers, he heard a voice from the other cubicle. "Hey, how's it going?" And not wanting to be rude, he replied, "Well, not too bad, thanks." A few seconds later, he heard the voice again. "What are you up to?" Well, somewhat reluctantly, he replied, "I'm having a quick dump. What about you?" He heard the voice again. "Hold on, I'm going to have to call you back. There's some idiot in the cubicle keeps answering on everything I say." Take care, see you next week. Ta-da.